Man, so old Detroit Herp, he was never really considered part of the cool kids, if that made sense. Like, we never invited him to come hang out with us, but he knew the hangout spots. We were all Muslim, so there really wasn't too much that we can do. We don't drink, we don't smoke. We don't go to bars or clubs. But there was this halal spot, out here in Columbus called the Global Mall. It's like a big Somali shopping center. And they have a restaurant inside, right? So we will order some Somali food, some sambusas, drink us some chai tea and just chop it up. And old Detroit Herb knew that was one of our favorite hangout spots. And him being a kind of a lonely dude, knew that was the hangout spot, so he would go there and kind of impose on us. With all of us being Muslim, we would be polite. But none of us really wanted him there, but, we didn't want to be rude and say, brother, you can't sit here with us. Because we all knew about his degenerate actions and how he treated women. And all of us were married with kids. And we really wanted nothing to do with this fucking weirdo that was spreading herpes everywhere and abused women. And if anyone knows anything about Muslims, then we try to be polite, we give salams, and then we politely ignore, hoping he'll get the hint and move on. Detroit Herb never got the hint, man. He would sit there and just start talking to us, just running his mouth. I remember this one time he came there, and he was talking about Kevin Samuels. I mean, Kevin Samuels had this man convinced that he was a high-value man. This old weird-shaped, pear-shaped guy. He was tall and had a big old gut. But he would swear to us that he was a high-value man. And he would get mad that we would disagree on what high value was. To us, being a good father and being a good husband was high value. As Muslims, we saw dudes like Kevin Samuels as just trash. Just misogynistic assholes that hate women. And it was no small wonder that the message of Kevin Samuels resonated with dudes like Detroit Herb. See, Detroit Herb had a six-figure retirement. I don't know how he ducked and evaded child support, but he did. All them bastard kids that he made, he didn't pay for any of them. But he swore just because he had money that he was a high-value man. It didn't matter that he was known around town as Detroit Herp for having herpes. It didn't matter that every woman in every family knew to stay clear of him. Because not only did he have an incurable disease, he was a deadbeat father that married women, beat them, divorced them. And that was after he infected them with herpes and got them pregnant. But he was adamant his money made him a high-value man. And because he made into the six figures, that everything else should be overlooked. I eventually got tired of hearing his shit and I told him to leave. He just wasn't the man that I wanted around me at all. Of course, the other brothers thought I was wrong for being rude to a fellow Muslim, but I personally didn't see him as a Muslim. In my eyes, he was just a piece of shit. And I thought that was it. Then I got a phone call from one of my friends. Something had happened to Detroit.